Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. This week Ed and I are going to talk about and watch Last Boy Scout. So Last Boy Scout came out in 1991, 1992. It's a bit difficult to tell because we're looking at it on Xbox and it's got 1991, but you go on the IMDb, it says it's 1992. So it's probably one of those two. Hopefully, when we watch on Xbox, we're going to get the US version, which is a slightly longer cut by only by a minute or two, but I think it's got more. It's got more of the violence in it, which I know sounds a bit weird. I hope it's got more violence in it, but it is better. Just these little cuts here and there. So, starring Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans. Though, if you look at the Xbox description, you will be thinking, Bruce Willis, 16 Blocks and Sin City. I know those are pretty reasonable films, but considering the man's been in Pulp Fiction and in the greatest action film of all time in Die Hard, why would you list 16 Blocks down? Just makes no sense. Anyway, so without further ado, I'll say hello to Ed.
Hi, James.
Last Boy Scouts. Here we go. Sort of a little bit out of our 80s theme, but definitely one of my favourite action films of the time. I think as well, this is like an MTV movie.
So how long after this did he do Die Hard with a Vengeance?
2 years later.
2 years later.
Because Geffen, of course, now is... This is a Geffen movie picture. So, movie production. So, they, of course, formed DreamWorks with Steven Spielberg and Jeffrey Katzenberg.
So I always remember the start to this film, when I first started watching it, it's got Billy Blanks in it.
It has.
And I thought, quality, Billy Blanks is going to be in this film. Not in it for that long.
Of course. William, as he's known. I love this song as well.
Of course, Billy Blanks in one of the most amazing martial arts films of all times, King of the Kickboxers.
King of the Kickboxers. Very young Halle Berry in this movie. Kim Coates, that automatically gives it an extra 25% of quality. So I remember buying this on VHS from the now defunct British Woolworths store.
Good old Woolworths.
Good old Woolies. Well, I got it picked up on VHS. I thought, oh, it's got Bruce Willis in it. I've not heard of this film before. Totally blew me away.
I think the first time I saw this was another TV, when ITV used to have their movies and then they used to have the news in between, and everything before was cut, everything after was not cut.
Well, this one, I think it's on ITV4 this Friday, so if the show's up and people are listening in the UK, listen out for it or watch it. But this was a bit of a record-breaking script, I think, for Shane Black. I think he got paid a lot of money to write this movie. In case you haven't guessed, Ed and I are big Shane Black fans.
It's definitely got some quality works to his name.
Well, it's just the snarkiness and the sarcasm and all the one-liners.
I think when you look at it as well, the way he writes the script, you can imagine the characters actually being like that.
Yeah.
It's not like it's forced. I mean, also, what I quite like about this movie is you can see the sort of transition, the way you move into the 80s and 90s with all like the music videos and all sorts of things like that, MTV taking off in a big way.
There he is, Billy Blanks. Do you know, until you said that then, I never twigged. Not once.
See, what impresses me about Billy Blanks is he's a good martial artist. I do believe he was never a martial artist at school, and his teacher told him he'd never be any good at it. And I think within a year, to prove his teacher wrong, he'd got a black belt.
Fair play.
So he worked really hard at it. But nah, sorry. Because I'd seen a couple of his movies by the time I'd seen this. It's just like, it's going to be in this movie. Quality. No.
I think this must be one of the only Shane Black films as well that isn't set at Christmas.
Yeah, not that I can think of, yeah.
All the other ones that I can think of are all set at Christmas. So Lethal Weapon, Christmas. Lethal Weapon 2 he didn't write. I think he's got a bit of a story credit, but he didn't write. The Monster Squad, but he co-wrote that. That's not set at Christmas. That's I think that's Halloween.
Yeah.
This isn't set at Christmas.
Monster Squad.
It's not bad, is it?
Sky.
Yeah, it's not bad. 90 minutes. Frankenstein is a good guy. Can't understand why it's a 15, but hey.
That's quite odd about ratings, film ratings now, isn't it? I mean, you look at it and you go, and you look at Sky, Predator, Aliens, were 18s, dropped to 15s. You look at something now, it's a 15, and you look at it and think, it's probably a 12A at best, but they won't drop the ratings on them.
I get the impression that what Billy Blanks is about to do on the football field, the American football field, is illegal. I think it's probably a fine and suspension from the football authorities.
Yeah, but a big fine, I should say.
Yeah. He might get a season's ban. I feel sorry for the linebacker here. One in the head, another one in the shoulder. That's the worst one because the one in the shoulder, he knows he's going to will. The one in shot in the head, that's probably is the worst. I'll take it back because he's dead. The one in the shoulder is the least worst because he's probably going to play again. The one in the knee is harsh because he's never going to play again.
And he's got to remember it, be in there.
Yeah.
When his career ended.
There we go. You don't see that every day. Oh, I love this bit. Whispering. Bruce Willis potentially might have fucked us. We're off to death.
I see. When we were growing up, watching these films, they were influential because if you slept in a car, you thought, I slept in a car, just like Bruce Willis in The Last Boy Scout. I'm cool. No, lots of hobos sleeping in cars and things like that. Private Detective. There, you've got kids acting all hard like they're going to rob him, and then when one gets caught, he screams like a little girl. Quite strange as well when you look at Bruce Willis for his movie career. You can actually see the hair loss.
Yeah, you can track it. Yeah, because he took a long hiatus after this Shane Black, so he did this, and then his next movie I think was Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Christmas movie. Iron Man 3, Christmas movie. The Good Guys, Christmas movie.
She rates a 3 on my finger scale. That means I cut off 3 of my fingers if God let me fuck her.
Think of 1 on your nose scale. Prove your looks.
Yeah, eat me. So listen, I'm booked. You got plans?
Think you best smoking some cigarettes.
Could you postpone?
I think that's the thing. If you set movies at Christmas,
Gotta run some errands.
it's like Riggs says in Lethal Weapon, it's the silly season. So people do get a little bit more nuts and people get more down. And there's a lot more going on.
Yeah.
Wow. There's some serious anger issues there.
Definitely.
Yeah, very tough. Now this is the best toy ever. Shoot him.
Home invasion.
Cut, cover it up.
Yeah.
Well, ex-cut, still cover it up. Even a dog is angry. Ouch, bit blown about. Wow, not really.
No, not really. Quite fitting, really. His car is a crapmobile, isn't it? Mike's got his.
Ford, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, Mike had a Ford.
He did, yeah. Mike's now dead in quite spectacular fashion.
See, I'm pretty sure he's watching these movies where I got my sarcasm from.
Yeah, and mine.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out what that is on his head. I'm trying to work out if it's one of those hats that people used to wear when they went to bed.
Yeah, it does look like a night hat, doesn't it? It's not your best piece of headgear.
Hey, look. I don't know who the fuck
Sympathetic,
you are,
Eddie.
what's going on with Coy's my girl. If she's in some kind of trouble, I want to know about it.
When you look at Bruce Willis there, he's got a face of, I really don't care what you've got to say. Would you want to mess with that man?
No.
$2.25 for a packet of cigarettes. What would that have been about £1.50 back then?
Probably. So in terms of Bruce Willis movies, where does this rank in terms of your favourites?
Well, it's definitely way above Hudson Hawk.
You could like Hudson Hawk from an ironic sense.
Well, for me, I think I like Die Hard, obviously, quality movie. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
There's no contract on it.
And you'll do it for free.
There's
Who else would?
Last Boy Scout. I mean, the other Die Hards, like 2 and 4, bit hit and miss. Die Hard 5, I don't think they've made that yet, because if they have, it's probably terrible, sorry to say.
Oh, that film is so bad.
I actually didn't mind 16 Blocks. Thought the concept of that was quite good.
Yeah, I think 16 Blocks is
I also enjoyed Looper.
I think Looper's a good film.
It's very clever. What about you?
I think you're automatically drawn to Die Hard. I think
That's not I fucked your wife.
there's quite a few films actually when you really start to think about it, because I would then automatically include Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I'd also
Fucking your wife, I'll take two.
think about got
The detective?
The Fifth Element, which despite Chris Tucker doing his best to annoy the hell out of you,
What's he gonna do? Light up
Bruce Willis is still very cool in that movie.
This creep shows up out bitch slap.
I like Looper too. I think Looper's a really good film. I also like 12 Monkeys. I think 12 Monkeys is brilliant.
Yeah. Distract people with jokes and then stab them with a broken bottle.
Yeah, in the neck. What else has he done that I really like? The Hostage is quite a good film, a bit underrated. And Hostage, that's the one where he's a hostage negotiator and goes works in a small town, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quite like that movie. It's a little bit underrated. I know he's done a lot of really dodgy crap at the moment. Lots and lots of B movies. So Damon Wayans has just driven into one of the bad guys and pinned him between two cars. It looks extremely painful, but not as painful as being shot in the back of the head by Bruce Willis.
Hey, back up. Back up.
When you look at Shane Black movies, I wonder what the total damage count cost would be across all the movies. I mean,
Right.
you've got cars, you've got buildings, especially station wagons. You've got buildings.
Well, just you can put all that to one side, because all you got to do is look at Iron Man 3. Because each suit that Iron Man wears costs apparently nearly $1 billion to build, and Iron Man has 50 suits nearly in that film, and he destroys them all. So that's $50 billion. That's before you think about his mansion being destroyed, and you think about all the destruction that Tony Stark causes en route to the final conflict with Trevor Slattery.
$650. Yeah. Depends. Yeah. You wear them. Yes. Then I have like a TV in it or something. Nope. I'm very old.
Alan Beck is definitely like the drier, more sarcastic version of Riggs. Rather than being outwardly violent, he's all more repressed a bit more inner anger.
Definitely a lot of self-loathing there as well.
Yeah. But it's the language, isn't it? It's the conversations in this film that make it so good.
There's more. Oh yeah. There's stuff Corey fed you about some weirdo.
I think that's the thing as well. It's the backstory as well. Where you look,
Extremely good guy, Secret Service agent. Tried to do the morally the right thing, but ended up costing his job.
He's fucking my wife.
Gotta be saying, because Bruce Willis is not tall, that dude must be really short. Either Bruce Willis that or Bruce Willis is stood on a box.
There's a new invention out.
oh, Tom Cruise did in a lot of his movies.
I might start thinking about you. Secret Service.
That's really clever, a bit of storytelling as well, because you have the one conversation that starts as who was Alan Beck beforehand, and the next, the conversation is carried on between Alan Beck and Jimmy.
So where did Corey live?
So the car parks in his films, like cop films, look familiar, don't they?
Yep.
It's called the vocabulary. You read much? A subscription to Jugs magazine just ran out.
Conversation between Joe and Jimmy about his $650 pants, which we've just been chatting about, was taken from a deleted scene in Lethal Weapon.
You back.
Murtaugh's daughter is wearing an expensive dress for a New Year's Eve party and asks it doesn't have a little TV in it, does it? Mel Gibson apparently was considered for the role of Jimmy Dix. And Jack Nicholson.
I don't think it would have worked.
Well, Jack Nicholson was the first choice for Alan Beck. This is one of my favourite facts about this movie. In an interview with Tony Scott, he mentions that a stray cat managed to get into Bruce Willis's trailer and started humping Bruce's hairpiece. The piece was mangled, but they managed to get it looking bearable again. That's a wicked fact. Well, there's quite a few different changes to the original script as well. There's a connection here as well with the editor, Stuart Baird, who edited Tango and Cash.
Oh, tape.
Indeed. Wow, the original script is really different. So there's two versions. So in the original version, Bruce Willis is a security guard for Senator Baynard, and it's his son who's the main villain. And Bruce Willis gets framed by having a load of crack cocaine put in his personal property when he refuses to lie for him.
Take Corey's car.
And then another version of the script,
Corey's car at the bar.
Milo
Jimmy.
and Shannon Marcone are the bad guys, but Milo's even nastier because not only is he a hitman, he also makes snuff films on the side. And when he's making the snuff films, he kills an entire family, kidnaps Joe's wife, and she's about to be executed at the end of the film before Joe saves her. Very, very different. Apparently, the early cuts of it were so dark that it was going to be almost the unlikely NC-17, which I think is like the death knell in American cinema.
But it always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
No, we should just leave on the street for a neighborhood kids to play with. Ladies and gentlemen.
Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans did not get on at all, didn't like each other.
Go, go.
But sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing because it means that the screen chemistry is better. So, if I just name a few, give them a rating out of 10.
Out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll give my rating out of 10. So 16 blocks.
I'll give that a 7.
Yeah, I'd agree with 7. Bandits.
It's been a long time since I've seen that one. That's going to be a tough one. I'll give it a 5.
I'll be generous and give it a 6. Hostage.
Give that a 7 as well.
Yeah, I'll go with a 7. Hudson Hawk.
Oh, see, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's just not fair. Yeah. I'll be fair. I'll give it a 1.
A 1. Wowzers. I can't give it a rating because I've never seen it.
You've never seen Hudson Hawk?
No.
It is bad.
So I think what we'll do in a future episode is we will watch Hudson Hawk. Now I'll watch Ed Squirm. And then I will just go, what the hell is going on?
I think what makes the film so bad is really it's just too stupid and over the top with virtually zero, for me, enjoyable story. You look at it and you think Bruce Willis, Die Hard, other things he's been in. Well, how would you pick that? I mean, that could have really, from my point of view, that could have ruined his career.
Yeah. Could have done. Last Man Standing.
That's a good film.
I like that film too.
It's a bit of a sort of like a remake of a Clint. What's it? A Few Dollars More.
Yeah, it's also a remake of Yojimbo.
Yeah. So I give that an 8.
I think I'll give it a 7. I like it, but I think both the other films we just said are much better.
Definitely.
Mercury Rising.
I'm going to give that a 6. It's not a great film, but I do think the story is very clever.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting concept. Lethal Weapon in Last Boy Scout.
Why aren't you in bed?
Daddy is watching TV.
Fairy Tom. Be quiet, Fairy Tom.
See that?
She's also pissed at you big time.
Are you ready?
What would happen to your face?
My God, it speaks.
Bruce Willis. Striking Distance.
What's wrong with his face?
His nose is too pointy. His eyes are beady. His ears are big. Needs a shave.
3. That's a generous 3.
I think I would be on that low level, definitely.
How's that
Probably.
in the back of your head?
Not a great film, but not a bad film. I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair score. I think there was one bit where he's testing out the automated gun and tells Jack Black to stick his arm out.
I got some ice cream
And then he blows Jack Black's arm off and goes, yeah, you're right. The target's in his off just a little bit. Heart's War.
Yes, sir, asshole.
Don't think I've seen that one either.
No, I've not seen that one. Have you seen either the whole 9 yards and the whole 10 yards?
I've seen the whole 9 yards. Give that a 7.
7.
But I haven't seen the other one, so.
Okay. I've never seen either of them.
God, you're such a fuck up.
So, here we go. Let's get down to some serious reviews.
You got that? You don't ever call me a fuck up.
Why shouldn't I? Mom calls when all the time.
Die Hard.
Fuck up. When?
On the phone with Uncle
For me,
Jay.
it's got to be a 10.
Uncle Jay.
I agree.
Christ, I'm a fuck up. But Uncle Jay now there.
Look who's talking.
To be honest with you, I'd probably give it a fair 7, because I mean, it's comical.
Yeah, the first one is actually pretty good.
So,
Look who's talking too.
probably go down a grade from there, 6.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Look Who's Talking To. I know it's Roseanne Barr's the other voice of Mikey. I've never seen Bonfire of the Vanities. Have you seen Bonfire of the Vanities?
I have an extremely long time ago. It's. I think it's one of those I've probably got about halfway through. It's not really my cup of tea as a movie. So, you know, I'll give it a 5 to be fair, because I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
all.
fair enough.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
you've got to be fair.
Die Hard 2. Die Harder.
Now, original cut, I'd probably give it 6. Director's cut, I'd give it 7, just because there's some more quality stuff in there and lots more swearing.
Yeah, funny enough, I saw Die Hard 2 before I saw Die Hard, and I enjoyed Die Hard 2, and I still have a soft spot for it.
He's my best friend.
I know it's definitely the weakest of the original trilogy.
All private.
Yeah, I think that's probably 7's about right.
Scumbag tried to get you killed. Friends can't be private.
Let's have a look. What else is there? Pulp Fiction.
I wish this guy wasn't doing it. I wish Warren
9.
wasn't, but-
It's 10 for me. I think it's still my favourite Tarantino movie. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
No, he sucks.
Give that a 9 as well. I think, I mean, obviously, I think that's where
But he could have been.
more comic values put into the movie. But I think the action and the comedy together with Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis and Jeremy Irons as well,
Yeah.
it works so well. But obviously it's just not quite as touch on the original.
I think I'd give it an 8. I enjoy it. I like it a lot. And I think you're right. It's the addition of Samuel L. Jackson that makes... It looks like Bruce Willis is actually interested in doing it. But I don't think I could score it any higher than that.
17 minutes in an interview.
Fifth Element.
Good time for one dream.
Probably give that, for me, a 7. It's not a bad film, don't mind the film, but for me, it's a bit weirdly futuristic.
Yeah.
And I always struggle. I enjoy the story, but I always struggle sometimes with all that goes on.
Not through for 3
But-
years.
That's fair enough. I think I'd give it an 8. I really like Gary Oldman in that film. I think he's brilliant. Armageddon.
Armageddon. Oh.
Hey, how did you show? Bathroom down the hall, first door.
Jeez, this is one of those movies. I'll give it a 6. Reason I'm giving it a 6. Unbelievable story. Totally. You're not going to fly up to an asteroid and destroy it to save the Earth. Not going to happen. But I do, for me, the bit that always gets me is where each of the characters who's going up, you see what their lives, you know, they go to see the loved ones and things like that. And there is quite an in-depth story behind a lot of the characters, which I think is good, but the rest of the movie just, you know.
Yeah, it's not Michael Bay's fine. It's not as Michael Bay's worst film, but it's nowhere near his best either.
Nah.
Which, for me, still remains The Rock,
Brilliant film.
which I really like. And I think Bad Boys, the first Bad Boys, I really like too. But then after that, he just completely lost the plot. Literally lost the plot in favour of special effects. Let's do a few more Bruce Willis. Sixth Sense.
I give The Sixth Sense an 8,
Yeah.
but the only trouble is, I had figured it out within the first 10 minutes. It's very clever, great plot twists, some great story and acting, but, you know, for me, 9s and 10s have to have a certain thing where I've got... Because the thing for me with The Sixth Sense, you could probably watch it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But once you've watched it 2 or 3 times, it loses its hold over you because you already know the ending to it.
Yeah.
Whereas the action movies, got Last Boy Scout, Die Hard, they sort of... You know what's going to happen by the end, but you can watch it because the comedy value in it and the story keeps you... Oh, look at it, I know what's coming up here.
Yeah.
Die Hard, the elevator shaft, it's coming up, it's brilliant, and then you're going to get all the sarcasm after that scene. And that's why, you know, like those films, 9 or 10.
Yeah. I like The Sixth Sense. I think you're right. On repeat viewing, it doesn't hold the same impact simply because you know the twist, and it does rely on its twist. So I think an 8's fair. Unbreakable.
Give that an 8 because that is a very good film.
I'm going to give it a 9 because I think outside of known comic creation, so I'm talking about not only Marvel and DC, I'm also talking about the work of Millarworld, so things like Kick-Ass, Hit Girl, they're already included. Kingsman, they're on the... I just think it's just brilliant. I really do. And it's a very, very... It's almost... If you're looking at what they were trying to do with Man of Steel, it's a perfect example of that, showing that this is somebody who has great power but doesn't know how to use it and is fearful of what they can do. And I think that it's really compelling. I also think that Samuel L. Jackson is phenomenally frightening in this movie.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Danger's my middle name.
Movie I've not seen, but I know you have. Tears of the Sun.
That's me. And it's Super Dave.
I would give that an 8.
Yeah.
There's 2 versions. You've got the director's cut, which I think the director's cut is a bit longer. I always find it a little bit better because the way it's cut, you get more full story. The only thing about that film is it's book to watch because I mean it's got a lot of genocide in it.
Yeah.
And some of it is quite haunting, but it is a great film.
Have you seen A Lucky Number 11?
Yes.
What do you think of that?
Give that an 8 because I just reckon it's got a great story, great twist.
Yeah, I think it's good. I probably would agree with you there. I think it's an 8. It's a really interesting take. And it was good to see Josh Hartnett back, because I hadn't seen him in anything decent for a little while. Can't believe it's 10 years ago, by the way. Where else should we go? Surrogates.
Haven't seen that one.
It's quite interesting. The idea behind it is that humans have retreated into their own property and just live inside their houses, and they have robotic versions of themselves, androids, going around doing stuff on a day-to-day basis. So it's quite interesting. I'll give it a 7, worth a watch. It's not going to change the world, but quite a good, interesting concept. Now, I tried to watch this film and I couldn't get through it because it was so awful. Cop out.
Well, unlike you, I got through the entire film. I would give it probably 2.
It's definitely a movie where he's not interested in what the hell is. I just had to stop it. It was so bad. I really didn't like it at all. A film that he did do in that same year, though, that I really did like and was a nice surprise is Red.
Yes.
I think I give that a 7.
I'd agree with a 7 for Red.
Yeah, I think that's good. And we're getting really up to date. We spoke about Looper before. And then, that's pretty much it. He's done some ropey stuff in the meantime, but we won't talk about those.
I love this bit. I told you I was going to kill him. Why are you surprised?
Conspiracy are you talking about?
I mean, he's very lucky, isn't it, with a fractured neck, considering the fact that Bruce Willis has been smacked on the back of his neck with a butt of a handgun.
Well, that's the one I always love when, Honest Trailers, the Die Hard, what would have killed John McClane.
Yeah. How many lives would he have needed to survive it? Yeah, that's good.
You charge me with someone. Let me the fuck out of here. My husband did not kill a cop.
Joseph. What I mean, funny. Mr. Milo is a nut job. Not quite sure that the cars would actually do this.
Yeah, that's the weird bit, isn't it?
Which would be quality. Because if you travel back in time, you can stop it all from happening before it happened. I do love the continuity error slightly. From the one angle, the window's got a bullet hole in it and smashed. From the other angle, it's a brand new window. Bolt.
Yeah, like now.
And it's gone again. We kill everybody.
Exactly.
Careful of that case until when it goes bang.
Right. Because we're going to go and kill everybody, we need to have a higher body count than Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando.
Yeah, I was watching a video on YouTube the other day when we talked about Commando, and it shows that if he'd have continuing firing the way he did with his machine gun, not only did he run out of bullets after about 1 or 2 seconds per rifle shot, but his continual fire would have literally meant that he was firing fire because his barrel would have melted.
Well, that would have been useful about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, too long. Listen, we're going to see Mr. Marcon. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
How'd you like to get launched off the goddamn planet?
What the fuck you doing here? You a player? You want to kick up the fucking thing? How'd you like to get kicked off the fucking planet? It's a game.
That's twice now he's ended up with his tail between his legs.
Exactly.
Now, would he get away with assaulting 2 cops even though he was going to save somebody else's life?
Well, it's very touch and go. Very touch and go. He's another well-acted villain, I think, is Milo.
No, he hasn't got a shotgun. I don't think he's got it anymore. Taken out by a horse.
Jimmy, give me the fucking ball! Thank you.
Oh, now everybody's going to believe him.
Well, it's not only that. It's how bad a shot is Milo?
See, that's the rule of bad guys, mate. Milo's got probably what you could class as a marksman's rifle, i.e. assault rifle and sniper rifle mixed into one. Hornbeck had a handgun which he could shoot somebody at twice the distance with.
Yeah.
Looking for this?
Nasty.
Now we'll know whether it's the US version. Yes, it is. Milo goes splatter.
You reckon the guy in helicopter was going, right, we're lower, quick, get up there, get up, the body's falling, we can get him.
Even though I know that the blades are going fast enough to do that, you would have thought they probably would have taken the helicopter down at the same time.
It's like he's dancing.
You know, for a dancer, he's one hell of a detective.
You've caused criminal damage, you've assaulted, even though he's a bent senator, you've assaulted a senator, you've assaulted cops, you've shot at loads of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the man. There's the bastard who's been making the phone calls and harassing me. Stage managed the whole damn thing. Arrest him.
Hit a gut. Excuse me?
Mom's here. Oh, I need you so much.
You're a real bastard, you know that, Joe? And then some.
I'll say those cuts have healed pretty well, seeing as they're less than 24 hours old.
They have actually, haven't they? I'm considering the fact that he's been pummeled quite a bit more.
So sorry.
Got the wrong one.
Oh, you got to feel sorry for the two dogs here. I mean, they've done nothing during the film,
No.
and they're about to get wasted. By what?
It's the massive collateral damage because yes, it may have blown up Marcone's home, but it must be nearby loads of other people. What about the poor people, the poor pedestrians that are walking past his house at the same time? They could be skewered by one of his Doberman's burning corpses. So, Last Boy Scout, what would you give out of 10?
Give it an 8. It's fun, it's enjoyable. Great comedy and action mixed together.
Yeah.
What about you, mate?
I would probably give it a 9. I still think it holds up really well. What's really clever about it, even though it's set in the 90s, there's minimal tech use, 90s tech use, so it doesn't date it too much. Even with the fact that it's got a cassette player in one of the cars doesn't make much of a difference to me.
No, I've got a cassette player in my car, mate.
So...
And fast forward does not eat the tape.
Fast forward eats the tape. Fast forward eats the tape. Yeah, I've still got it's still got a big soft spot for it. So we're gonna try and go through a number of films in the coming weeks. Not necessarily in this order, but we're just going to try and mix it up a bit and do lots and lots of different things just to try and spark some different conversations. But just to give it a bit of extra variety. So things that are going to come up include Back to the Future, The Lost Boys, Terminator and Terminator 2, An American Werewolf in London, The Dark Crystal, DOA or Dead on Arrival, which I'm presuming is the 90s, 80s, 90s version rather
Yeah, the
than the
one with
50s
Dennis
version.
Quaid.
Yeah. Highlander. We won't bother with any sequels. Just
Were
the
they
original.
sequels to Highlander?
No,
They make no sense.
no, exactly. The totally epic cheese fest that is Kickboxer.
Oh,
Van Damme. The Outsiders, which are
it's been a long time since I've seen The Outsiders.
that Mickey Rourke.
To be honest with you, I think it's got it's Patrick Swayze.
I think it. Maybe I'm mixing it up.
It might. I mean, it's been that long since I've seen it. It was just one of those ones I was just thinking, what haven't I seen in such a long time that I can't remember? I mean, because it's like, seen that many movies, a lot of them merge together.
Yeah. So, Outsiders. This is C. Thomas Howell, Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
I think this is completely unfair because they've got one of these gangs, because it's about two gangs, has Ralph Macchio in it. Yes, the Karate Kid is in one of these movies. Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Emilio Estevez, Tom Cruise. Yeah. But no, must have getting it mixed up with a different movie. Anyway, so The Outsiders.
So, another quality one. Thinking of Patrick Swayze. Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. The Running Man with Arnold. Scrooged, which we'll probably save to around sort of Christmas time.
Yeah.
Great film. We'll definitely do the Goonies at some point. Christine, which is one of Ed and I's favourite directors, John Carpenter's Christine, about the killer car. And we touched on it earlier, Tango and Cash. There'll be more than that, because that'll just keep us going for a few weeks, but there'll be more. So thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed our conversation about The Last Boy Scout and basically us listing Bruce Willis movies. I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.